The word consciousness is used in many different fields for many different things. And although they are all pointing to the same thing, every different field and aspect of study of this consciousness is a little bit different. So first I'm going to talk about the science of consciousness. In the field of consciousness in science, they are really looking to find out where consciousness comes from. Their reality stems from a physical world. So they're quite perplexed as to why this consciousness just arises. They are just trying to find out where it comes from. Is it just humans? Is it animals? Do bugs have consciousness? And they're looking for the origin of consciousness, and this is a widely researched field. There's lots of funding going to it in the present, and one study in particular has limited it down to the neocortex area of their head, so just the outs of their brain, just the outside layer, and they're trying to figure out whether it's the front or the back. And there's different theories associated with all of this, but the general gist of consciousness through the lens of science is, where does it come from? We don't understand this, and they're quite perplexed. If you look at any of the scientists that are trying to study consciousness, they're just kind of baffled. They don't know, and they're trying to get a finger on it. Okay, and then another field of consciousness, I would say, would be spirituality. And there's quite a few different ways that spiritual people look at this. The first, I would say, would be in the realm of a soul, right? So it's a individualized little chunk of consciousness, and they say, well, this is my consciousness, this is what I am going through. And they look at the past, and they look at patterns and try to figure out what direction they are headed, and are very much in tune with themselves as the self. Often within spirituality, there's an understanding that consciousness is larger than it seems. They see how massive, how infinite, you could say, consciousness is. And there might be an understanding that, yes, even though we are trying to divide it up, and this is where our minds go, there might be an underlying understanding that consciousness is. So that's spirituality. There is different other ways of viewing consciousness through spirituality, that everything has consciousness, or everything is consciousness, and it's quite a lot, as with any field within consciousness. So the last field is practice and integration. And I've differentiated this from spirituality because there's a sense that you can't individualize. And once you start to individualize, you are not being, you are not practicing. There's a sense where you are just there. You are just consciousness. And any sort of extrapolation besides that can be put into another category. But in that, being in that state, maybe in like a deep meditation where you aren't identifying with your soul, or you aren't trying to find out where consciousness is coming from. All those are they're just distant. This is just things of the mind. And so the practice or being of consciousness is just, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you get some understanding from this. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching.